Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. AV were able to get an upset win in game number 1 against Legacy, and they're looking to try and take this one 2-0 as we head into game number 2 shortly.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they should now be eyeing the 2-0 fish because that was a decisive game 1 victory. They were able to pick it up in, I think, 27 minutes, something along those lines. And their composition just came online so early. You could see that as soon as they grouped up as 5, it certainly was a good look. And, you know, just a couple of little things like double gargoyle stone plate coming through meant that that team was going to get even stronger. The build that Blinky went for, as well as the laning phase that he was able to have on the Callista, that pick certainly has to be addressed in the draft now. And we'll see whether it does happen.
Yeah, hopefully be able to see the exact same thing from AV because they looked unstoppable. That man in your screen series did not have a great laning phase, but definitely picked up the crucial flanks for a lot of these team
But
fight
let's
victories.
be fair. I mean, he got camped.
He did.
In the laning phase. He got shoved in over and over again by the Cho'Gath. They were teaming up. They were invading topside jungle. Sybil had no way that he could really gank that lane because every single time he went into the topside jungle, he was spotted out by wards. So they swapped that pressure bottom lane. And the good thing is that Series was still able to have an impact. But Blinky and Triple carried that game for him. So I think that if you get camped like that, that's the response you want to see, is that bottom side of the map wins incredibly hard.
They did very well against Lost and Cupcake there on your screen. That's probably one of the games, like one of the only games we've seen them fall that far behind against their opposition. Even when they're up against the likes of the Chiefs and the Direwolves, they still look very strong in that bottom lane.
Yeah, certainly. And, you know, what we normally say is that they're a good 2v2 lane. They're the parts, you know, the sum of the parts is better than the two individuals. But I think that this game, Blinky and Jake had Sybil there, a lot of it. And they were able to take over.
I mean, is that what you meant to do? You know, send Sybil down so then Cupcake can't stay with Lost and you break apart the duo lane so then their individual skills have to shine?
I honestly have no idea what you're supposed to do against them. But you can see bans have changed slightly. Braum being taken away by Legacy.
Yep, and Cho'Gath being banned out by AV. But Elise and Thresh still taken off the table with Maokai and Gragas. That's a first pick Zac coming in for Legacy.
So now we'll see how strong it is. I still think it's incredibly strong on the patch. He can be invaded a lot earlier, doesn't do nearly as much damage once he's in, but he still has that long-range engaged fish, and he still has the ability to disrupt.
And usually we see the Zac pick from Legacy paired up with one of the tanks so that they can alternate how they engage. Zac will go in, back off, and the next tank will jump into the front lines after. And with Braum taken away, don't think Cupcake has another tanky champion in the bottom lane he'd like to throw out. So let's see if they give one to Tally. Instead, Blinky's going to pick up Callista again. And Sybil goes back to the Sejuani.
This makes a lot of sense. I like what I see out of Avant so far. Cupcake has a couple of tanky supports. They're just not really standard ones. He plays Trundle. You know, the likes of that. Ooh.
Ooh, hello. That's a Janna and a Draven that gets locked in for Legacy's bottom lane. That was quick.
All right. Interesting. Draven beats a lot of lanes. Janna's raw AD is going to help him out. Typically, Tally is a Draven player on Legacy.
Uh-oh. Please no.
I think Lost will be able to play it. I've just never seen Lost pick it up.
Even Bench is smiling after that draft. But I think one big pick away from Legacy here is they take the Janna away from Jake, which does incredibly well into Zac.
It's funny. I'm going to go on a complete tangent. We were sitting here before the show today. I was watching the guys rehearse. And Hingers just turns around to me and says, no one ever innovates in us. Like, we never have any different picks. Like, what is it about that? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we had a Master Yi played top lane one time. We had, like, Zed played last week. We had a lot of Graves. Like, now we've got a Draven. Like, what more do you want from us, Hingers? Like, how many pocket picks do you want a week?
Just ungrateful.
What is the quota?
I'll check his contract.
5, apparently. 5 pocket picks a week. All right, we have not hit 5 yet. That is correct. We're on 1.
What is wrong with him?
I don't know. I think he's funny. I like him. Good guy.
But we're going to see the next few bans come through for AV here. Kassadin as well as Cassiopeia.
So Triple's about to pick Corki. That's
surprise.
Fair. As soon as you ban out Kassadin, Cassiopeia, that's a Corki pick. Blind Fish, if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, as soon as I saw AV and Direwolves were playing today and they're not in the same match, I was pretty confident that Corki was going to be picked every single game. Let's see what gets picked up. Kled and Renekton are banned out against Series. taking away 2 of his stronger champions.
Ah.
Oh, surprise!
I for one, am shocked.
Ooh, never saw that coming. Draven was more expected.
I want him to play Zed.
Into the Corki?
Yep.
Ooh. I mean, we've seen him do it into Jace, I think it was. Now curious to see if Claire's going to throw it out. And, you know, he didn't have the best game 1. Definitely lackluster on the Orianna.
Yeah, it's a gauntlet. If you do go for it, it 100% is a gauntlet. But not going towards it, going towards a control mate. Oh, no, he's not.
Hello, Lucian. That was strange, but...
Claire's a really good Lucian player.
Hang on. Tally is too.
Yeah, you don't blind pick Lucian top lane. No, Claire is actually... When I was looking at... When Claire was a free agent, I do this thing every year where I think about, like, what super team would I make out of the free agents and, you know, people that are moving around. I was like, I would nearly put him in 80 carry. Like, he is a fantastic Lucian player. And they've gone with the Rumble.
Rumble top for Tally. Makes up for the lack of ability power damage that Legacy bring with a Lucian mid.
I don't like Rumble top lane at the moment.
Line stuff.
Think he doesn't... Like, he still shoves in the tank, but the tanks have better wave clear than what the fighters have. And when you have an aggressive jungler, you're able to kill Rumble as a tank. You just, you know, CC him down, the jungler kills him.
Yep. I do like him into Jarvan though.
I do,
he did
as well. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
And,
as far as lanes that he can get played into.
Rumble now needs to survive till level 9, and his nerfs, so to speak, were meant to impact him 1 to 9. As soon as he hits 9, he is strictly better than the old Rumble.
Yep. We wanted to turn him more into a team fighter again. He was turning into a lane bully. And we wanted to be a team fighter. He certainly still bullies some lanes. This lane he'll bully because he'll be able to push in and harass very heavily.
Jarvan used to be a lane bully. He used to be like the Pantheon top, where if you get hit by 1 EQ, you're dead. But
it wasn't even that. Like, just Q auto attack was like silly.
Yeah, now he needs 1,300 gold before he can actually fight anyone.
1,300?
Yeah,
1,200?
Gets the Tiamat.
1,200?
Is it 1,200? I thought it was 1,300.
Is it? I don't know. Absolutely no idea. Someone tweeted us, let us know. We'll bring it up on screen for you at OPL. Use the hashtag IamOPL. Or apparently Twitch chat now gets on the stream as well. So just drop it in there and we'll see whether they bring it up for us. But I agree with you. Tiamat is certainly a necessary pickup to be able to go into this lane. Very short range and no real escape on their 80 carries. Like, Lucian has a dash, but it's not all it's cracked up to be, let me tell you, Fish. Draven has nothing whatsoever, so Janna's got a job cut out for her. If Janna ever gets hit by Sybil's ultimate in this game, the team fight is nearly over. Pretty
much. One big thing about the Janna pick is now with the new changes to coin is that it amplifies the passive tremendously. So if Claire or Lost ever try to run towards the Janna, they'll be moving incredibly quick.
Janna is really annoying to play against. Just to echo what Choo Choo's was saying on the analyst desk, she is a negative champion. She shuts down so much play, and she's going to have to be able to do that job incredibly well against Rakan, Jarvan, as well as the Sejuani for them to win.
Well, let's see how on point Cupcake's Janna is going to be. For now, though, let's check in with Big Brain Soul Strikes, who's standing by with Hingers.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Soul Strikes, and I will say that even though I said that OS is not great at innovating, someone who consistently does that is Soul Strikes. So we've seen, we've seen Lucian Brom out of you. We've seen a lot of other weird picks. So tell us about this Draven. What's going on here?
So Draven's like a direct counter to Kalista, and it's something that Lawrence really likes to play. So I'm going to put him as something that he's comfortable on, and he's going to get priority over Kalista.
Well, we kind of hear a lot of talk about how we're in tank meta right now, but you've picked, I don't know, 680 carries, I don't know, like in this draft. So is this about tank shredding from your team comp? What are your win conditions, do you think?
Our win condition is obviously like early to mid-game spike, and tanks are generally slow starters, so we're going to be abusing that.
Excellent stuff. All right, well, thank you for speaking to us, and best of luck in the game.
All right, thank you.
So, last game they threw Tristana, who is a good counter to Kalista because of the consistent damage she can match. Draven, on the other hand, is a burst 80 carry, but does that consistently. So, curious to see how that is going to counter Kalista.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with him. I think Draven counters everyone in the lane. The problem is that if you ever get ganked, you die. It's always been Draven's problem. He likes to push up. He likes to be aggressive. Like this. First act drop. Ooh, not great. Thought he was a main.
Yeah, since his passive change.
Draven's mains never drop axes, Fish. Trust me.
Since his passive change to make it a little bit less oppressive, if he does get ganked in lane and dies before he gets that first kill, he is going to not be able to use that passive effectively and not snowball his lead.
Cool, so let's talk about Draven a little bit. Draven, every single time he gets an axe, you'll see the little Draven heads in the bottom left-hand side of your screen right now over his player portrait. That's called adoration stacks. Whenever he stacks these up, they're worth a gold amount. When you pick up the kill, you're able to cash in your stacks and you get bonus gold. If you die, you lose stacks, and that's what we're talking about. Gets level 2 first, and here we go. That's some aggressive play.
Goes to town on Jake. The poor Akan.
Certainly is. So we'll see how that works. Let's have a look top lane before I continue my speech on Draven.
Sybil is going in behind Tally. That's the scrap shield use, and now it's go time. No shield, no movement speed. Good slow from
no
Series.
flag and drag,
They're going to tag him, and they're going to lock him down with the stun from Sybil. But as you mentioned, no flag and drag means no knock-up.
Really strange that they went for that gank when Series didn't have an E.
So that's flash for 2 flashes.
Yeah, that's worth. Really confusing stuff out of Avant jungle and top lane. So let's go back to talking about it. His W is a movement speed boost, short little movement speed boost. As soon as you catch an axe, it resets automatically. So you can legitimately sprint at people forever. His E is called stand aside. It's a little bit of a, it's a straight line skill shot that knocks people to either side. Then his ultimate, of course, is very famous, Whirling Death. The 2 big blades that fly across the screen and try and kill you. Pretty much goes heavy AD, but also likes to be able to pick up a death stance because he likes cooldown reduction. So we'll see if he goes death stance or whether he just goes a standard crit build.
I mean, when lethality was first introduced, Draven was one of the champions that was put under the spotlight. It was like, oh, this is a champion that will do well with lethality. He did not show up during that meta, so also curious to see if Lost goes towards the lethality route.
Lethality is also just bad against tanks. He'll one-hit Blinky with it if he ever gets back there, but he's going to spend the majority of this game hitting a Sejuani.
Yeah. We also see a few high-low Draven players go for Mercurial Scimitars early as possible.
100%. You want to have a QSS in your build as soon as you possibly can, and you need to be able to insta-cleanse because you know CC is flying at you in team fights. Yep. As I said, you notice when I went through his kit, there's nothing in there that is a dash or a displacement. As soon as he gets hit by something, Fish, he is a sitting duck. And you generally have to camp for Dravens as well. If you see a Draven in solo queue and you're the jungle, your job is to gank his lane. Because he snowballs out of control, harder than any other champions because of how his passive works.
Yep, which does make Jano a good lane for him. It makes it so you can't get ganked as easy. You see Cupcake's playing closer towards the river, and Sybil is not playing towards bottom side at the moment. However, Callista is farming up quite nicely. This happens though, and Lost chucks axes into her, and it's not great.
You can see that Jana also very confident in this lane, knows that it's going to be playing a little bit further back, so it's gone bottle fish. But as you can see, every single time that you can push up into turret range, that is exactly where you want to be.
They go slowly chipping away at this turret, but they won't be able to get too much damage. Draven is still fairly short range.
What is he, 525?
I think he's 550 still. But he's not your Caitlyn, he's not your Ashe.
I know that we were looking at him for his range, because it was very contentious at one stage.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Claire's doing a good job against Triple as well. He's about a minion wave up, and he's harassing him out of lane over and over again.
Yeah, any kind of carry that can dodge out on the Phosphorus Bomb can give Corki a little bit of a hard time, because that's your trading window early game Fish. However, Claire's doing a great job. Level 6 first, forces out a teleport on a Sheen purchase. Is officially 2 waves up, although Triple will grab some of that at the turret.
Yep. So we'll be able to collect most of this mini wave if he does it right. But teleport being used by Triple, that's a good spell to take into the Lucian, because he will be able to mitigate a lot of the early harass.
Just Phosphorus Bomb that wave.
Yeah.
Should have lost a creep for that. Didn't actually, you got all of them. So hats off to Triple, he's better at farming than we are, Fish.
Spoke too soon there.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. Cast a curse.
Oh boy. Yeah, but he's gone back onto the Corki, a champion that we see both him and Fantix pick up all the time.
Exclusively.
Whenever down.
They're the only 2 champions that either of them play. And yes, Fantix, I know you're watching upstairs, and I'm hoping that you listen to that and pick something else. But we'll see again that getting some deep vision into Carbon's jungle. We've seen that quite a lot. Haven't seen Carbon go for a gank yet.
No, he's farming. I think it's the best way to say it. He's out farming Sybil slightly, because he's already got his Cinder Hole.
Has just changed his item build like 15 times in base. Did not know what he wanted to buy and has wasted a lot of time in there, Fish.
Well, they're all on sale. You can't choose. But you can only have one. But he has not picked up his Cinderhawk, which is a relatively cheap buy.
Barmy Cinder?
Yeah, Palmy Cinder. Sorry.
Yep.
That's been made to now 900 gold only. Carbon's already got his. He's been hard farming this
Yeah,
jungle.
and he's actually, you know, a level and a half up. See also that Carbon's got Bond of Stone, which obviously gives you 5% bonus health. So it's going to be very useful for Zach. Should also be useful for Sejuani, but see how it works out. Don't need Courage of the Colossus anymore because, you know, the shield just is not as good as the additional HP when you're going things like Cinderhulk into Warmogs.
Bond of Stone, though. We saw Cupcake pick it up on his Bard. He likes
For the
that
sick
mastery.
Ardent Sensor passive.
Yep. I mean, his auto attacks can proc it if he gets the slow off. Carbon and Triple are going to go toe-to-toe here, just clearing out wards. Claire tried to dash over to get some harass over towards Triple, but failed that. That's all right. He's got his Blade of the Ruined King, so Triple's going to have a hard time in this lane.
Yeah. A lot of sustain now coming out. Has also gone further of battle. I like that because you don't really need Warlords as Lucian. See how he continues to harass out in this lane. You can see Triple is pulling the wave.
Ooh. Culling the use of Claire a little bit early, but trying to poke him out while he has blue buff.
Yep, exactly right. You can see Carbon goes for the invade here. Will be spotted out by the ward, so the collapse can come out. See how they go for it. Instead, they do the do-si-do.
They're trying to lock down Lost. He gets stunned and locked down by Jake. That's going to be first blood picked up by Blinky, and that destroys the Adoration stacks.
What a play coming out of the AV lineup. Although now they're here.
They're going for a fight. Equalizer's been used. Blinky flashes out of it, and Jake dashes away. I mean, Series has used his own teleport, but that seems to be cancelled by the Jarvan.
Certainly was cancelled, so that's a really nice play out of AV. They've also got priority now over this mid lane turret. Looks like we're going to see a standard build coming out of Lost. He goes back, he grabs himself a BF sword as well as a dagger. So no death stance.
And that's huge. That's now Lost with no summoner spells, and his passive has been cut. He now only has 12
No,
stacks?
I think it's like 120 something. I just don't think we see the last number.
Yeah, so his stacks have been cut in half.
Yep.
Puts him back quite a bit. And as Draven, you always want to cash in that first Adoration stack, no matter how late in the game it's going to be. If you die once before your first kill, it's going to set you back quite a bit.
Yeah, it just, I mean, cuts your income. He's someone that, as we already keep mentioning, he likes to snowball. The way he gets ahead in games, because he doesn't have that big mobility creep that has come into League of Legends, is through pure gold values and being able to bully. As now, Series fancies his chances against Tally.
Ooh, forces him to flash out of the Equalizer. Sorry, out of the Cataclysm.
Yeah, knew that he didn't have the ultimate because it was used bottom lane. So instead just goes all in Fish as soon as he has that first big shot. And Tally had to get the heck out of there.
Yeah, now Series without Carbon poking his head to top lane time and time again. He's doing really well into this matchup against the Rumble. Already has his Tiamat complete, looking for the Phage next.
And obviously has listened to the criticism that his champion pool was the issue because so far, 0 Renekton games, but still 2 pretty good performances, Fish.
Yep. It's been looking really good top side of the map for AV. Sybil as well, right place, right time, and good execution from Blinky and Jake again. They're looking like the duo in this match that we expected it to be in Season 1.
Completely agree. Split 1, I was incredibly hyped up about Blinky and Jake. Blinky had just come off the back end of qualifying with X5 back then, XL5. We thought that he was going to be a pretty promising AD carry. He started well, but unfortunately didn't really end that season well, Fish.
And he picked up where he left off. He did not have a great start in Season 2.
But now all of a sudden is looking very good in this best of. They're now pinging out onto Claire. See, Sybil has the ultimate. Claire going for some vision, however.
And you have to remember, all of Legacy's champions, they're all consistent damage dealers. They don't have any burst damage in this game. So Series and Sybil are going to have a field day getting into the back line, having access to Claire and Lost.
Yep, completely agree. They're not going to be chunked out before they get in there. Claire and Lost also have 0 margin for error in this game. You can see they finally think it's time to stack in on Draven, so they're going for the gank down here, although has been spotted out the whole way down. So Carbon, even though they don't have direct vision on him now, they kind of know what's coming.
He's got 200 stacks now of adoration here. That should be close to 500 if he did not die. But AV playing this game quite patiently. They're equal in gold, which is where you kind of expect them to be after going into a Lucian Draven lane. They should have fallen behind about 1,000 gold naturally because of the lane presence, but they've done a good job of staying equal.
Yep.
And now they'll be able to scale into the mid game very well.
Exactly right. And if you don't keep this Jarvan down, he's going to be able to launch himself onto his backline when he has those 2 items, Titanic Hydra as well as the Blade of the Ruin Black Cleaver. Then throw something like a Stone Plate, or in this game, maybe something like a Randuin's Omen Fish, because there isn't all that much magic damage coming out. Apart from Tally, then you can really disrupt the back line. Siri's in a position to be able to carry, and I don't think the 2 carries on the other end, you know, of the Kalista, of the Corki, have been set far enough behind to really be outscaled either.
So we just saw Legacy pick up a Cloud Dragon, which is not that great for them, but they take the objective nonetheless.
I mean, Cloud Drake's pretty good. It's like able to move around outside of combat. Maybe able for Lost to be able to dodge out on some skill shots, things like that, that are going to be flying towards him at the start of those team fights.
But at the same time, I think it's crucial to address what this means for AV at the moment, because they picked up a single map here against Legacy. Yep. It's already hard enough task. But if they pick up a 2-0, they're very close with Sin on the ladder at the moment. And being able to take the 4th over 5th place spot means that you don't have to fight between the bottom 3 teams if they have a great run in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly right. And the other thing is that, as Carbon gets his recall stop, big thing to point out is the fact that we thought their season, even if they made playoffs still, Fish, was pretty much over just because they weren't playing as well as the other top teams. If they're able to pick up a victory against the first place team, well, that dispels that myth. That means that AV, once again, should be treated as a legitimate threat. And sure, it's only 1 week, even if they pick up a 2-0, but every resurgence of an OPL team has to start somewhere. They lost against Chiefs last week, but picking up a victory over Legacy is picking up one of those sneaky victories and would also give them a head-to-head in the season, which would mean if it ever came to a playoff run against these 2, then it's a pretty big deal.
It certainly is, but they're only halfway there so far with a single map victory. In this game, they're looking strong, but it's Legacy to put on the pressure to try and take down first turret.
However, they do have to be careful they don't overextend. Corki's got the inside track. They've got a teleport coming in. Double teleport coming in, actually.
This is going to be a big fight. Triple's going to get there first. Legacy have to try and fight this one 4 on 5 to kick things off, but they've already killed Cupcake. Lost is stuck against everyone. Throws out the Whirling Death, but he's going to fall as well. Double kill for Sybil. Make that another one picked up by Blinky as well. And AV have stormed onto Summoner's Rift again.
Exactly right. Another massive play, and they're going to take the tempo advantage to send Blinky and Jake top lane. They're still going to be able to pick up first turret of the game, Fish, and all of that bonus gold that will come with it. And this is a fantastic performance out of the Avant Gaming lineup.
It certainly is. Claire's still sticking around with Carbon, but they're not going to get anything out of this except for cleaning up the wave that's been pushed in. Now, 2,500 gold lead for AV. They're the proactive team, and they've just blown all the cooldowns from Legacy.
And that was Legacy's play. Legacy actually went in here to see whether they could get first turret. And you see Jake pops the ultimate early, flashes in, gets Lost, gets Cupcake. And as I said, Cupcake should be priority in these team fights. If he gets multiple rounds of shields as well as that ultimate off, they should be able to win it. That time around, he got nothing. Nada, zilch, and that won them the team fight almost instantly.
Blinky played that perfectly as well, pulling in Jake nice and early. Able to rip out the Ren stacks on Lost as he was trying to get away from that fight too. Now Lost incredibly far behind, and he's gone for an expensive build here with the Infinity Edge first.
Yeah, I mean, normally if you're going to go IE, you see a couple of, you know, Zeal items or at least components picked up. See a little bit of a freeze top lane as Blinky wants a lot of the creeps to die to the turret, trying to starve out Tally.
Which makes sense here. Doesn't want to push into second turret. And instead's going to let the whole wave die and push another wave forward. Tally went back to base, thinking that was going to be hard frozen, and it was. And that's going to be Roof Tower picked up by AV as well. They're controlling Legacy so well.
Yeah, they've got a really nice tempo lead going here. And we'll see how that actually works out. Triple now falling down.
Yep, going to get locked down quite low. There's the culling coming out as well as the Whirling Death. Finally Lost. Cashed in some of his adoration stacks.
I mean, it looked like it was 428 goldfish, so some is a little bit of an understatement. Even though he's died twice, he still has been catching axes like an absolute boss. And that means that they will be able to equalize the turrets. And what was an explosive start to the game is still only a 400 gold lead right now for Avant.
Yep. They do have Rift Herald in their back pocket, so let's see if they can do anything about that. Yeah, cashing in those
Looks
snacks.
like they want to drop it. Otherwise, Sybil probably wouldn't be pushing up this aggressively. No, don't want to do it.
Series was close enough. They still have some time to work with this Rift Herald.
They have heaps of time, but generally, if you're not going to use something like that, then you don't tax the whole wave as a jungler.
Don't you tell Sybil what he can and can't do.
I say generally, Fish. Certainly didn't say it was a bad call.
But yeah, last outer turret left standing for AV to take is that mid lane outer. For Legacy, it's going to be top lane outer. But they've done a really good job. Off of one pick onto triple, they've equalized the gold, as you mentioned. There's the Rift Herald drop. That turret's going to fall, giving AV the lead again.
Now what do they do with it? All the easy turrets gone. They've got a big deficit in the mid lane, to be quite frank.
Ooh. Harold gets another big charge.
CS, and they're going to look for the engage here. No, they back away.
Carlo cancels?
Yeah, 50 CS nearly for the Lucian over the Corki at the moment. Corki also being forced into suboptimal boots as far as Corki goes. Sybil's caught out here.
Yeah, trying to lock him down. Carbon can't get the second auto attack to get the stun. Maybe group up for a Mountain Dragon.
But Series is over the other side of the map and doesn't have teleport Fish, so they need to be very careful with this one.
Yep. That will come up shortly, though.
Although now he has a big flank if he wants to go for it.
Legacy are hard pushing mid lane. They're going towards mid lane inner. Already pinging out that they're moving towards top side jungle instead. They're genuinely scared.
Yeah, certainly are. They've engaged onto Series, but they're not going to beat the team there.
Yeah, so they're going to pull him back with Carbon's ultimate, but Series just drags the minions back towards bottom side. Claire going to try and go in with the culling. Flying and drag gets Series back to safety. Carbon's still chasing.
Yeah, I mean, he should be. Triple's in the other side of the map, and there's not really all that much Series can do right now. He's just going to keep running.
He gets out.
Yep.
So, AV off the back of that, get a Mountain Dragon for themselves and defend mid lane inner.
Yeah, certainly do it. Still going to be 1,300 gold. Lost is going to be at a pretty scary point soon. No armor yet being really picked up. You can see 7,200 gold. Still behind Blinky, but Blinky's got a couple of kills and a couple more turrets for him. Triple spotted, apparently.
Carbon's still charging down, had Lost close by. But AV definitely controlling this game incredibly well. Playing as a team, AV are at the moment.
Yeah, and Sybil is having a fantastic performance today against Carbon, which is pretty strange. Sybil plays well against some junglers and not against others. Has not played well historically against Shurnfire, for example. Also doesn't normally play all that well against Spooks. But against Carbon, against Juves, has been able to turn it on a little bit.
He's at a big power spike as well. He's already got his Cinderhulk as well as Warmog's armor complete.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the Warmogs this game. As I said, I feel like armor early would have been actually really good. Righteous Glory would have been a fantastic pickup for Sybil because you're dealing with a Lucian as well as a Draven. If you're just able to run at them at this stage of the game, Fish, certainly would have been good things.
He is setting up success for AV in their next item pickup though, because Series is going for health stacking as well. Once they both get their Gargoyle Stoneplate, they're going to be difficult to deal with for AV.
But as Soul Strikes pretty much said in the coach's interview, they know they're going to be stronger later. The AV lineup, that is. When you have 2 or 3 tank items, sure, you're huge. But the 80 carries are pretty strong right now, especially the Lucian. You know, Ardent Sensor plus double item for Lost also means he's pretty strong. So AV are now in this weird position where even though they're up in gold, they're not really up in the game speed.
Yep.
And they need to play this one very carefully because they give a gold lead away. Lost and Claire will just not give it back.
So if you're Legacy right now, sorry, AV, do you just sit back and go, well, we need to just hang tight until everyone's ready? Or do they still continue to try and force these big plays?
I mean, I think that you look for the plays if you're able to, you know, get a pick onto Cupcake, be able to win another team fight. If Legacy force again because they feel like their time is running out in this game, then you can certainly look to capitalize. Everyone's gone tabbies for that exact reason, so they at least have some base armor to be able to work with. But I do feel that you're not looking for the game-ending play just yet. This isn't one of those games where they're looking for that big team fight. Well, they might have a collapse onto Claire, who is most likely dead, Fishery.
Yeah, Claire's got to be careful. He's running straight back down the lane, getting minion blocked a little bit.
Plus Callista. There's just no way he gets
There's
out
a
here.
double teleport coming in for AV as well. They're sending everything Claire's way. He'll get locked down by Sybil to kick things off, and Carbon's in amongst this fight as well. He's going to be careful. Package nicely delivered it to the back lines. Claire falls. Carbon now in a lot of trouble. Oh, you
headbutted a wall.
hate to see it. Carbon with the fat finger flashes into a wall. His bloblets are going to die, and that's 2 picks for Triple.
And all of I said, you're not looking for that game-winning play. Well, they just turned the game on the head, Fish, because all of a sudden this is Baron. Sure, Equalizer is available as well as Cupcake, but there is absolutely no way they can get in. So they're just going to start this one up, and they're going to look to knock it down.
AV looked all right during Super Week, but they've definitely taken what they learned during the 2 long weeks of the OPL, and they've showed up in their game against Legacy here. Doing fantastic in Game 1. Now Game 2, 3,500 golden lead with Baron buff to work with.
Yeah, and their comp is better late. I mean, that's all there really is to it. Legacy gambled on this early game. Claire got a massive CS lead. I mean, they got Draven to 2 items. That's exactly where he wants to be. But it just has not worked out in these mid games. And Avant Gaming looking the goods today, Fish.
They certainly are. They're looking incredibly strong, and all the weaknesses we talked about for AV have been shortened, and both Triple and Sybil still performing incredibly well. And I think a big part of this, Blinky getting back on his Callista, one of his signature champions. Whew.
I agree with that. I thought Game 1 he had played well enough to probably justify a ban Game 2. Let the Elise go through. If they've already said they wanted to play team fights today, Elise doesn't really fit into a team fight comp, Fish. I mean, give up that ban, take away the one champion that Blinky has looked good on. Because you know he'll go back to Varus, and you can bully that out if you are lost Cupcake. Whereas this Callista has nearly been unbullyable. Is that a word?
I think so.
Is now.
But AV now have their eyes set towards the bottom lane inner turret.
Good rotation, secure vision over the 3 crucial points in the jungle. If you take a look at their control wards, they now get even deeper from Jake. So they cut off any cheap path that Legacy can really take.
They're marching towards inhibitor turret 1. Bottom lane already at half health. Carbon charging up for the initiation.
Here we
But look
go.
at Jake. He's gone in as well. Blinky as well as Triple able to avoid the equalizer. They will deliver series in the backlines, but he throws down a Cataclysm as a last stand. And that might be all over, ladies and gentlemen, because Legacy are hitting the deck here. Knock up lands onto Claire. He's going to get taken down as well. And AV are charging towards the Nexus.
They hit the go button and they get it. 24 minutes into this game, they kill everyone but Cupcake, but Ajana can't defend turrets, Fish, and that will be the clean 2-0.
That is decisive. League of Legends coming out from Avant Gaming. They storm onto the roof in game number 1. They take it down easily against Legacy. They're having a bit of trouble here without their minions destroying that final Nexus turret. They still want to end this game. Cupcake's doing everything he can to try and stop this one. Karma's now joining the fight. Blinky and Triple still trying to kite around and hit this damn Nexus, and it will fall. Legacy will drop 2-0 to AV.
As simple as you like. Avant Gaming come in today. Game number 1. Hingers called it a banana peel game. And they take care of business. I think that we had 51 minutes of total game time played between these two teams. It took less than an hour for Avant to absolutely rinse Legacy today. That was an absolutely one-sided affair. They should be incredibly happy with how they've just dethroned the top of the ladder of the OPL.
And those two guys on your screen, the hard carries. Triple had great games. Blinky back-to-back, solid games as well. Even Series stepping up to the plate in game number 2.
And that was twice. I mean, Lost said, Soulstrike said that he gave Lost counterpick that game. Lost also had counterpick game 1. Tristana beats Callista. But twice they were able to stand up in that laning phase and really put in work. And then the rest of the team played around them. I mean, Sybil able to get down with that crucial engage to shut down the Draven in the first gank. And then 5 members collapsing into that bottom lane to set up the first turret. I mean, that was a fantastic team effort coming out of Avant today.
And if you're a Legacy fan right now, you have to be rooting for Regicide going into a massive match against the Direwolves, because if Direwolves pick up a victory over Regicide later today, Legacy will fall to 2nd place on the ladder.
Yeah, everyone's sick, so fist bumps are going to be ahoy today. No one's going to want to shake hands with anyone. Although apparently those two guys aren't sick. Trust me, if I was going anywhere near Claire at least, that would be maximum distant fist bump.
Stay away from me.
I think we've got the exact same thing, so I could probably hug Claire.
Well, for now, let's send it back to the analyst desk to break down the decisive 2-0 from AV.
Thank you very much, guys. Well, it looks like some people have picked up some points in the tipping ladder.
Yeah,
all
against
three
all
people who
odds.
voted for them or something. What?
Yeah, none of us picked it here, but AV,
No.
too strong for Legacy, 2-0. A clean sweep of you boys.
They crushed them. That was hard, but yeah, they actually dominated both of those games.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's really hard to analyze because it was really like simple macro play. The way AV won these games.
It was sort of it was AV playing, I guess, to like the style that they're very good at, and Legacy playing into a little bit. So AV are the team that will just group up and team fight and 5-man death ball around the map, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
An absolute upset. I mean, going into this, we said, look, AV looked shaky the last couple of weeks, losing against Chiefs, or almost losing a game versus Regicide. But we've got to remember, at the start of this split, they took a game off Legacy. They took a game off Direwolves. So maybe perhaps it's Legacy not playing to their strengths as well.
I would like to highlight how I think AV have pulled together a really nice composition. The Kalista, Corki, Sejuani. The first game they first picked Sejuani, but I feel that they finally developed a composition which they can operate really efficiently on.
Well, to find out if that is the case, Fish is currently standing by with jungler for AV Sybil, so let's throw it to them now for the interview.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Sybil, the jungler for AV, as well as his personal masseuse train of Blinky as well as Jake. But besides that, you guys just picked up a massive 2-0 victory against top of the table Legacy. You guys must be feeling ecstatic at the moment.
Yeah, it's I think it's pretty good. It feels pretty good. Yeah. It's still like I don't know. It's very nice to get this win because we've had we had a pretty rough loss against Abyss, so. I don't know. I'm just still. It's more about how we go from here. Still.
And was that a lot of improvement coming back from 2 Super Weeks? Did you guys practice really hard coming into this game against Legacy?
I think like our practice just showed today. I think like it. We have been working really hard. But what's been happening in the past is that we've like struggled to really translate. And we just I just get really nervous and like slip up on stage, and it's just something I'm like trying to work like towards. But today I think it just kind of showed.
Yep. Well, you guys looked absolutely fantastic today. Congratulations on your 2-0, and we're going to send it back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Fisher. And also, Sybil, congratulations to him. And
he was really mellow. I was like, you just beat
the top team in the league.
You just beat the undefeated team.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Smile!
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it seemed he was a bit speechless, but
Maybe he's still in shock. Maybe he's like,
yeah, that's what
I
I was trying to say.
didn't know we were going to do this either, you guys.
Yeah. He said like it's all about like where we go from here. And that's the perfect outlook. You've just beaten the undefeated team. It's gauntlet now. Coming off that win, they're probably over the moon.
Whew. Jesh, so look, we're all trying to get our head around this. AV have just swept Legacy, but where did it all go wrong for them in Game 2?
So we obviously saw that there was a lot of emphasis before the drafts even came out on the bottom lane, and then we saw in Champion Selected they took the Janna and the Draven, and that Legacy really wanted to play through the bottom lane. You see, I think around like 14 minutes or something, or maybe earlier, I can't remember exactly. Carbon walks in there, try to take this turret. Jake lands like a really nice 3-man charm on all those champions. Keeps Triple alive from the Zac. Janna instantly dies at the start of this fight. Lost has no protection, and the double TP from Avant there just mean that Claire's running down from mid but can't get access to the fight, and they just clean wipe them out and then get the first turret off that. And from there, it's really easy for Avant to just like start snowballing into that macro game where they just send their bottom lane back early and they run top, and off that they get the Rift Herald, top turret, and the game's just cracked wide open for them.
The nicest thing I think I would like to highlight about that is how AV were the first people to teleport, and Triple's Corki was the first person to rotate down. And that ultimately meant that Claire wasn't even in that fight. That was a 4v5.
Yeah.
Plus they had a 2-second advantage on the TP from Jarvan. So the team fight was over before it even started really. Just showing how AV's macro has dramatically increased over the past 2 weeks.
But is that also a bad call from Legacy to try and take that first bot tower?
No. When I was watching the game, I thought it was a nice call. They knew that Blinky and Jakey had recalled, and they thought they have an advantage. Let's get this tower really quickly. But I don't think they expected the fast rotate from Triple and
and series, which really caught them off guard.
Yeah, so it's sort of one of those slip-ups when you play against double TP. If you haven't played it against it a lot, sometimes you forget that, you'll have 2 TPs coming in versus the 1.
Yeah.
So not having mid-priority with, like, if Lucian shoves that wave in and starts moving forward, starts moving down towards the fight, that has a lot better chances. But, just because the lane's even and Triple gets a TP down to that second brush, it just makes it so hard for Legacy to win that.
Yeah.
I don't even think Triple TP'd. Did he? He did TP?
Yeah.
Okay, so he did TP.
Yeah.
He did TP, but it's really just basic macro. Like, if you are versing double TP, you need to respect that. Like,
Yeah.
especially if you're pushing tier 1. It's shown again. Claire's pushing top lane, and he does get caught.
Yeah.
In the replay that's about to be on your screen. But it's just showing like basic mistakes from Legacy. That's very unusual. So Claire's pushing top lane wave, pushes it into tower, but they just rotate very easily onto him. And this is already like a team fight. Like this team fight is over before Legacy's given a chance.
That's a beautiful package as well.
It was that's even more embarrassing. Is that was when package is up.
Yeah.
You can't push up that far when package is up. There's about 30 seconds that you need to play safe and back. But it just shows that Legacy were not here to play today, and their basic macro knowledge was lacking. And there's a lot of things in their VOD review that they need to pick at and kind of go back to the drawing board and get ready for the next game next week.
Right then again, it was another double TP. Both of them TP from base. As you said, Triple had package there, and you just literally TPs right to where he wants to package, and then packages straight away, and off that they get the Baron, and it's really hard, I guess, for them to defend any of their inners and inhibitors from that point.
So this moves AV up 3 points on the ladder. They're now equal 14 points with Chiefs, who obviously have a game in hand. They play tomorrow. But this kind of shakes everything up for the rest of the ladder. Because it means Direwolves can now take first place very easily if they beat Regicide today. It means Chiefs could also feasibly overtake Legacy if they take 2 points today and then continue to win. So, I mean, it's blown the season wide open, you guys.
Well, I think it's interesting from the perspective of, assuming the top 3 stays the same or whatever, but how that 4th place shakes out. So AV have like the head-to-head already against Sin, and if you're AV coming off the win against Legacy, you're probably looking, pretty happy against them. They play again soon, I believe.
Next week, I believe.
Yeah, so like that'll be interesting to see the rematch there, because that really decides 4th, I guess.
Yeah.
This is even stranger, is that Legacy did a lot more damage, but yet they lost the game. And like,
this is the thing. If you're not, no, because Legacy didn't play like many tanks. Whereas there's much more damage to be done.
It's Corky Calista versus Lucian Draven. They would exert the similar amount of damage, but it shows that it shows to me that they just lost team fights too quickly. That they just got out-rotated and caught, and AV didn't even need to do much damage to win that game. They did the right amount of damage at the right amount of time, which caught them and got them Baron, and ended the game in 26 minutes.
Yeah, no, I think that it probably plays in a little bit in the fact that they're also hitting the front line, so obviously it inflates their damage a little bit. But yeah, no, as Choo Choo said, it did seem that the damage that was relevant and how Avant transitioned from their fights and wins into objectives was just far superior to Legacy today.
So then let's quickly talk about this draft out of Legacy. Picking up Draven is a thing which no one expected. I was talking to some people. It's not been seen a lot in Lost's play, especially on stage. So I mean, if you're a coach, you pull this out, it doesn't work. I mean, Direwolves tried this a couple of weeks ago with the Protect the Cogwall comp that didn't quite work out for them. I mean, does this just go back in the box, or do you think Legacy just kind of keep playing this? And now that they've shown it, what I'm asking is it a cheese pick that doesn't come back, or is it a thing that they can work on?
I think, like, on paper, it beats Calista in lane.
Yeah.
It is a direct counter. So in that sense, I definitely don't think they should just put it away because we lost one game on it.
Yeah.
But we didn't really get to see the strength that it could put forward, because he did get Dover 12 minutes and did die and lose a lot of his stacks and a lot of his lane pressure that put Blinky ahead. But it's really hard to question of if they should bring this one back onto the Rift.
I'd like to see them keep playing it. I think that I actually spoke to Tally, I think at Origin or something. He was like saying how he's a good Draven player, but Lost is way better than him.
Yeah.
So I think he's probably a very good Draven player, and I think that there are definitely situations they can pull it out. And this is one of those games that you really hope it doesn't shake his confidence on the pick. And if it's a suitable champion in a future draft, they should definitely pick it again.
The other thing which was kind of interesting about this draft was that Carbon and Legacy first picked Zach, which I mean has gone through about 3 rounds of nerfs now since the start of the season.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that
it's getting to a point now where it is perhaps no longer perma-ban, perma-pick.
Maybe. Maybe, but I've always thought Zach's biggest strength is his CC chain.
Yeah.
The elastic slingshot is probably the biggest engage tool in terms of range in the game, especially coming from a tank, and he's able to follow that up with the Q and then the ultimate. So the champion holds a lot of engage potential and just outright tankiness.
Yeah, no, his strengths obviously are his engage and his CC and how he team fights. And what made him so strong in previous patches was that he jungled fast and everyone, and his ganks were like absurdly good too, and his item build is really cheap. So now that we see like a bit of him, scaling back on all those other things, he sort of more fulfills that sort of niche, like engage, tank, champion sort of role that he's not the only one in his field who can do that. And I think that we will still see people pick him because he's not like garbage or anything.
Yeah.
I just don't know if a lot of teams will continue to first pick him, over a lot of other things. I think it was fine this draft maybe because there was like three tank junglers banned from Avant, so it like narrows that pool down. But
do you think? I mean, we've seen it played support a little bit this split. Do you think maybe if he's not clearing jungle as quickly and doesn't need to do as much damage, is Zach support going to happen? Jish?
I think you're onto something. I actually think I think you're onto something.
Just looked disgusted. He looked utterly disgusted at my suggestion.
No, because I mean T-Gun's shown with the Galio and the Nautilus.
Yeah, Rosie's a fan of it as well.
These champions that as you said, he did get nerfed pretty hard. His jungle clear is a lot slower now.
He's still got that engage and that CC.
He still has the tools to engage that you generally have from support. Supports usually run engage.
All right.
So,
well, you heard it here first. Despite you were very tight-lipped.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
Zach support's coming to the Rift pretty soon. That's my pick. I'll bet my entire reputation on it. I won't, which is not much. All right, let's take a look. If you're watching at home and you'd like to get involved and ask questions about 7:15, please do hashtag #ImOPL or @OPL in Twitch chat. We'll answer them during our next analyst segment. But that is all from Game 1. Do not go anywhere because right after this, we're back with our second match of the day as Direwolves take on Regicide.
Lost, he gets stunned and locked down by Jake. That's going to be first blood picked up by Blinky, and that destroys the Adoration stacks. Legacy have to try and fight this one 4-on-5 to kick things off, but they've already killed Cupcake. Lost is stuck against everyone, throws out the Whirling Death, but he's going to fall as well. Double kill for Sybil. Make that another one picked up by Blinky as well, and AV have stormed onto Summoner's Rift again. Often Carbon's in amongst this fight as well. He's going to be careful. Package nicely delivered it to the back lines. Claire falls. Carbon now in a lot of trouble. Oh, you hate to see it. Carbon with the fat finger flashes into a wall. His Bloblets are going to die, and that's 2 picks for triple. And bottom lane already at half health. Carbon charging up for the initiation. But look at Jake. He's gone in as well. Blinky as well as triple, able to avoid the equalizer. They will deliver series in the back lines, but he throws down a Cataclysm as a last stand. And that might be all over, ladies and gentlemen, because Legacy are hitting the deck here. Knock up lands onto Claire. He's going to get taken down as well, and AV are charging towards the Nexus. That is decisive. League of Legends coming out from Avant Gaming. They storm onto the Rift in game number 1. They take it down easily against Legacy. They're having a bit of trouble here without their minions destroying that final Nexus turret. They still want to end this game. Cupcake's doing everything he can to try and stop this one. Karma's now joining the fight. Blinky and Triple still trying to kite around and hit this damn Nexus, and it will fall. Legacy will drop 2-0 to AV.